Hi guys! Okay, so this is going to be my first kind of Sarah spending quarantine video. It's going to be for my weekly series, Shimelle Sketches ReImagined. So here's the sketch we're working with this week. Pretty easy and simple. I really like it. I'm going to change it up just a little bit. Just a wee bit. Okay, so here are the photos. I have 2 photos. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And I'm going to trim these down so that they kind of make one photo block, right? And then here are my stash products I've pulled together. So these are all from Cocoa Vanilla Studios' Bohemian Dream. It's from 2017, so a bit older, about 3 years old. And I went through my stash of these products and I pulled out the things that had this like peachy corally kind of color and some of the little minty greens to kind of go with my photographs. And then I pulled in some colored cardstock because my white cardstock needs to be, what's the word? Not hoarded, but conserved, so to speak. So since I had a couple different shades of coral cardstock in my stash, I went ahead and I grabbed these 2. They both are close enough in matching that I think that they will work. So I'm going to go ahead and use these as my base for my page. I'm not sure which one, if it's going to be the more pinky one or the more orangey one. I'm kind of leaning towards this pinky one. So why don't we go ahead and just say that it's going to be the pink, this melony pinky color. And then I've also pulled together, so my idea is to incorporate some stamping into this layout. And using this, so this is Jen Scow's lovely peony stamp set. I've used this a couple times before and I love it. It's so pretty. So we have that one. And then I also pulled, so this is a new to me ink. This is from iCrafter. It's the Shaved Ice Hybrid Ink Pad. I've used it like to test stamp and I really like it. I think it's a nice white stamp set. So my idea is that I'm going to have the pattern paper here and the pattern paper here and then have stamping, the floral stamp come out from beneath there to give it this area a little bit more of a pattern. And yeah, so that's, but beyond that, I'm going to work with 2 photos. So my photo will be larger, my photo area will be larger, and then we'll go from there with embellishing and stuff like that. So that is my plan of attack for this. Couple of things, my lamp right here, totally blew. My husband, he worked so hard trying to like fix it, and in the end, money-wise, it was cheaper to buy a whole brand new lamp than to buy the part of the lamp that broke. And then on top of buying a new lamp, we also went like crazy searching for like a generic version of my lamp so that it wasn't a big expense. So we did get a new lamp and it's on its way to us. But in between now and then, it might be dark. I opened the blind, which is right up in front of me, and I don't know how that's going to work. So if my lighting is a little wonky for the next couple of days, next couple of videos, that's why, because my lamp broke. You know, the saying, when it rains, it pours. I've learned the art of not opening emails when it comes to my spending quarantine. I have learned the art of just hitting the delete button, even when the alt new email says free gift with purchase, which I was always all about doing. I just hit delete, didn't even open it, so go me. All right, let's get started on this layout. I want to make a quick mention here before I get into my process because I forgot to mention it at the beginning. I have a guest designer joining me today. So my dear friend Evie Cortez, who is Life with Evie on YouTube, is joining me and playing along with this sketch by Shimelle. I will leave her channel link below if you want to go over there and show her some love. She is such a great scrapbooker. She loves mixed media. She's just really, really talented and super sweet. So be sure to check out her channel if you have not already. So I cut this heart paper into these squares, and I'm going to go ahead and just put a little pencil mark here so I know where I'm going to be doing my stamping. Okay, I'm going to grab my ginormous Misty and do some of the stamping I want to do now. As an aside, I learned something very, very interesting about my stash. I don't really care for Michael's cardstock. And I also learned that I'm not a huge fan of colored cardstock backgrounds. Still not my favorite thing to create with. So this white hybrid ink, I have used it multiple times, and I always get a really crisp, clean, bright white stamp when I use it. But because this cardstock it's just from Michael's, it's a little thinner, it really just wanted to like suck the ink in, and it didn't. I don't know how cardstock works, but this seems to be like it's like thinner or drier than Basil or Nina or the Altenew cardstock or the Cardstock Warehouse cardstock, which is the ones that I tend to reach for. So, I mean, I haven't shopped at Michael's for anything in literally like months, and I haven't bought colored cardstock from them possibly for years. So I know that this colored cardstock is quite old, and I learned a valuable lesson about cardstock. There really is a difference between the cheap stuff and the not cheap stuff. And so I'm not sure that I'm going to be using any more of this stash of Michael's cardstock anytime soon. And then I had this problem. So this is my gloss spray. This is Dinah Wackley's white gloss spray. And I have used this so many times in every other paper that I have used it on. It sits on top of the paper, and it's bright, bright white and crisp. This paper, it like just sucked it right down in. It didn't sit on top nice like it does with all of my other papers. So I am not a paper aficionado, but this cardstock definitely did not react the way some of my others do. But I just kept rolling with it. I just kept rolling with it because I really did like this color, and I really wanted it to work. Coral is kind of like my jam, and I figured, well, maybe I could get a lot of use out of this orangey corally cardstock that I have hanging out in my scrapbook room. I'm not sure about that. And I wouldn't put this cardstock in my silhouette. I feel like it would just like tear it apart. I'm not sure how it would do with die cutting either, but we'll see. Maybe we'll play a little bit with it. And you know what? If I get to the end of this spending quarantine and it's just a no-go, then I'll be passing it on to somebody else. So I'm going through all of these Cocoa Vanilla Studio papers, and I'm deciding that I want to leave a bit of a white border around my photos, and then I'm going to go ahead and kind of put them together to create one scrapbook layout. One, like my photos will be both matted together on the same pattern papers. And I'm going to choose a pattern paper that doesn't have a lot of color. I want one that's kind of a neutral because I don't want my photos to kind of just like blend right in to my pattern, to the color. I don't want my photos to kind of get lost. Plus, once I put these photos down on this cardstock, I realized how much like peachy, orangey, pinky we got going on here. So I want to kind of break that up a little bit. And I'm actually going to do that two ways. I'm going to do it by matting my photos, and I'm also going to do it by adding in some of that pretty light blue color that is in this collection. And so I used this fun little gray wood grain paper around both my photos, and now this is that blue that was in that collection that I'm going to go ahead and pull into my layout. So this blue, I thought it had a really nice spring feel. These photos were taken just this month in April. So some light springy colors seemed like a good option. So I'm going to use this watercolor card that's this fun, and I'm going to use it as part of my title. I'm adding some stickers here. These are from Cocoa Vanilla Studio too, but they are kind of like ombre or dipped, and they are from a different collection. They're not from the Bohemian Dream collection, but they worked really well. So I'm just going to put Family Fun Photo Op, and then I added some journaling and the date, and the journaling is just really simple journaling. These were just pictures. We were all dressed up. We did some selfies on the porch. We did a front porch picture. If you haven't seen those yet, those are really cute. I have one that I had to scrapbook of our whole family. And just some fun stuff. So when I did that fun with that blue paper, I went ahead and punched some hearts out of the scraps so that we didn't waste any of it. And I'm going to sprinkle those around in all of my different clusters. And then I have some vellum pieces. So Cocoa Vanilla Studio vellum pieces are really cool because they're like really inked. They're like really, really bright. And it allows you to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of them without being able to see the adhesive through. So that's really, really cool. I like that. So I'm going to add 3 little clusters here, and I'm just going to use these vellum pieces. I'm going to pop dot some of these hearts up. Everything is getting some Hickory Smoke Distress ink around the edges. This sticker says Live a Colorful Life, and for whatever reason it refused to stick down. It kept popping up. So you'll see here in a little bit I'm going to add some extra glue to it because no matter what I did, like it felt sticky, but it was not sticking. And that's fine. I feel like I'm going to run into that a lot as I start to use up some of my really old products. So next up is, I found these enamel dots. I'm just going to add them. There's some cute little hearts, and I have kind of like a heart flower thing going on here. So I'm just going to add a couple of the hearts and a couple of the little enamel dots to these clusters. And then I'm going to work my way down and through my layout. So I have that cluster up in the corner. I'm going to put one down here above my title to kind of lead into my title a little bit. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of a cluster over on the left side of my photos. And those are all just going to be these same elements. So some of the peachy pinky flowers, some of these punched hearts, and then finish them off with some enamel dots. And that's going to finish off my Shimelle Sketches layout for today. I hope you've enjoyed this little foray into colored cardstock backgrounds and using up some older cardstock that might not be to your liking. But we made it through, and I think I've come up with a couple of ways that I can use this cardstock as I continue on trying to use up a lot of my stash and not spending anything. So I was very good. I didn't pick up my phone. I didn't order colored cards or good high quality cardstock. I stuck with this one, and it turned out okay. I definitely don't think I would do some heavy stamping on this type of cardstock, but it worked. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day. I will see you all again Friday. I'm taking a break tomorrow, Thursday. I'm taking a break, but I will have a video for you Friday and 2 videos for you Sunday. So you can look forward to that. All right, see y'all soon. Bye.